with Kalada Korubata, but continues right about now. You're listening to 92.3 Nigeria Info, in case you are just tuning in. All right, that being said, I want us to talk about corruption, the fight against corruption. I want us to look at it, and Kano State will be our reference point. And why am I looking at corruption? We've had so many conversations, so many national debates. If I start giving you statistics, you would see how much corruption has influenced the poor development structure or process in Nigeria. From the military era to civilian era in time past to democracy that started in 1999, for instance. There are conversations about huge amounts of money used for used on the power sector, and yet we do not have enough power. There are talks about the CCTV project at some point in Abuja that never came to fruition. I could go on and on and on. However, I like to think that government is not the only institution that is characterized by corruption. In every sphere of our society, we see corrupt practices. We can argue corruption in the marketplace, in schools, in almost every nook and cranny of our society. But in 2018, we saw a video trend on social media reported by a media platform, and we could see the then governor of Kano State, Ganduje, collecting wad of dollars allegedly from contractors. And although we could not necessarily understand the full activity going on, it was reported that the then governor was taking a share from a contract, or was he taking bribe for a contract? That was the story at the time. And my goodness, the media was in a frenzy. Everybody was talking about it. Radio stations had topics in it. Newspapers were writing about it. Social media was agog with stories about, Ganduje allegedly collecting dollars from contractors. According to the story, one of the contractor had hidden camera in his clothes, and he was able to record and show the then governor collecting the dollars. So EFCC swung into action. At first they were dilly-dallying, and eventually they swung into action, and the EFCC was limited to the extent it could go because then Ganduje had immunity. The House of Assembly started a probe, and there was a little bit of some politicking, and then the probe was dropped. However, there is a new governor, or a current governor. Ganduje is no longer governor. He goes by the name Abba Yusuf, and he has been having a review of the activities and projects and development processes of the former governor Ganduje. We've seen houses and structures being demolished. We've seen all of that in the news. Some have called it witch hunting. Others have said it's the right thing to do because the current governor was, a former commissioner back then, and so he knows the areas that were not necessarily going the right way, and all of that. All of that argument is going on in Kano State, in Kano politics. But however, the one that has become a national conversation, media outlets are talking about it, people are talking about it on social media as well, it's the conversation concerning the fact that the Kano State government has intensified its inquiry into the bribery allegation against the former governor. So the probe, the dollar probe, started a while ago. It started with the state government anti-graft commission probing Ganduje on the 5th of July. That's when that report came out. And if you go to the Daily Trust website and just do a quick search, dollar videos, Kano anti-graft commission begins probe of Ganduje, you would see the report of how the probe started. Yesterday, there was a report. I can't remember where I did see it, but there was a report where the commission, the anti-graft commission, extended an invitation to Ganduje, and there were talks about if he does not come, then they would go about several other means to ensuring that he appears before the commission. But today in the news, it is now been reported that Kano State government has withdrawn its case against the EFCC. So during Ganduje's time as governor, Kano State government went to court and restricted or asked the court to restrict the EFCC from investigating. You can investigate, but you can't prosecute a sitting governor. So stop the EFCC from investigating and possibly eventually prosecuting the governor. If you still check the news right now and you do a quick search, you will see that APC is kicking against the move by Abba Yusuf, the current governor of Kano State. And then I'm thinking in my head, are we not supposed to have institutions fight corruption? I remember the former president, who is an APC member, by the way, he talked extensively and robustly about the fight against corruption. As a matter of fact, when he came into office in 2015, one of his key pointers was the fight against corruption, the anti-corruption war. And I wonder, I'm sorry I'm wondering, but I wonder nonetheless, that if it was someone loyal or someone in good terms or someone politically in alignment with Ganduje, would they have been a probe? Because even when it happened in 2018, we all shouted from the southern part of the country to the northern part of the country. We all shouted and said, hey, at least let there be a probe. Of course, he's innocent until proven guilty, but let's probe, let's investigate. And then the impeachment process will start, or would have started, if he was found guilty. But nothing was done. And it's a shame, first of all, that many years later, 5 years later, we're still talking about something that happened, and we're still not able to ascertain whether it was a crime or it was not a crime. However, I want to push this conversation to the institutions, the corruption institutions that we have in Nigeria. Are they, follow me please, are they only active when the government in power does not align with the people they're going after? And you can give me your examples. It's a conversation. It's a conversation, and I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Are they only active when the alleged corrupt people are not friends with people in government? Can we get to the point where, okay, there is an allegation, let's allow the corruption institutions or the anti-graft institutions, anti-graft is the right way to put it, the anti-graft institutions go after these people, investigate, not witch hunts. Because now APC is saying, it's because Ganduje and Yusuf are not in good terms, and so this is witch hunting. But in all, look at it, in all truth and honesty, this is something that should have been done a long time ago. And looking at how the state government has withdrawn its case against the EFCC, it's an indirect statement to say, EFCC, you know what? I know we said you cannot look into our books, but come look into our books now. Come look into our books now. Is that something that all the state governments, even the local governments, should do? Think about it from this angle. That there is a court judgment, I think in Imo State, one of the states in the southeast, where they went to court trying to restrain the EFCC from looking into the books, and the court said, you know what, they've got the right to. They've got the right to. So how do we strengthen our institutions? Because I think, first of all, the judgment from that court has strengthened the EFCC to go look into the books of that state government. So my question, my big question, because it's a big question in my head. I've been thinking about it all week. I know, even from last week when I first saw the report about the probe on the former Kano State governor, I've been thinking, how do we strengthen our institutions so as to investigate people even when they're in power? People who are, so big politicians that, they look like untouchables. I remember when we talked about the removal of the EFCC or the suspension of the EFCC chairman, we went back and we looked at other chairmen who have been expelled or suspended in one way or the other, as far back as Ribadu, and we could see a common factor, and that was the fact that many a times they went after people that were supposedly big men in politics. There's the Magu case. There were reports that he was not in good terms with Malami. There was the Lamode, also had issues with certain big politicians. There was Ribadu, that was said to have gone after a popular South politician, popular in quotes. But I'm going to open the phone line now. Or should I wait? It's almost time for a commercial break. But hey, you can still jot down the numbers. So once we're done with the commercial break, you can call in and tell me what you think about it. Or better still, you could start dropping your messages on WhatsApp. The number is 0809 0306416. 0817-923-0002 is the first call number. The second call number is 0817-923-0003. So you want to continue the conversation there. You can also catch the conversation on our app. Yes, our app. Go to your Play Store or Apple Store and search for the Nigeria Info app. And choose location, Port Harcourt, and you can listen live. All right, that being said, two big questions I have in my head and I'm sharing with you. First, the anti-graft agencies or institutions, are they only strong when the alleged corrupt people are not friends with the people in government? And secondly, how do we strengthen our institutions so that it does not look at what political affiliation you belong to or what tribe you are from? Because like I said, there will always be people who will go and say, hey, it's my people, it's my person. And like someone said, there is no separating politics from governance. So when it's time for us to actually, use the iron fist in governance, people will shout and want to politicize the conversation. A quick commercial break coming up in a few seconds. After that, I'll take your calls and I'll listen to what you say. And of course, maybe we'll have a debate, a back and forth. But then stay tuned to 92.3 Nigeria Info. At the bottom of the hour, you and I will continue conversations right about now. If you're joining or tuning in about now, you're listening to Hard Facts with Canada Kurubachabo. And guess what? We've been talking about anti-corruption fight, and we're using the former Kano State Governor Umar Ganduje as our reference point. And currently, Kano State has intensified its fight against corruption, and it's looking at the bribery allegation against the former Governor Ganduje. And as at now, reports circulating online are saying that the Kano State government has withdrawn its case against the EFCC. So what I deduce is that the EFCC can now go after the former governor. So what's your take on it? This anti-fight, oh my goodness, this anti-corruption fight, do you think it's skewed? It's biased most times. It's only after people who are not in friends, who are not shaking hands with those in government? Or do you think it's a fight that is gaining momentum? And then, how best can we strengthen our institutions, especially the anti-graft institutions, in the fight against corruption? 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp 0809-0306416. Facebook Nigeria Info PH. Twitter Nigeria Info PH. YouTube Nigeria Info PH. Let the conversations begin. So who do we have on? Let's see. Well, while your calls are coming in, this one says, Kalada, have you ever heard of Central Bank for Inside Agbada? That is ex-Governor Ganduje's nickname. It was added in the lyrics of the popular Nigerian comic singer Fowles, the bad guy, in his song entitled Bob Daddy, from Clinton K, aka Mr. Fresh. Thank you very much, Clinton K. This one is asking if the Nigeria Info app makes use of the internet. Yes, it does. Let's see now. Yes, the EFCC are friends with alleged corrupt party office holders. I won't call the party's name. According to Adam Soshomole, if you come to APC, your sins are forgiven. All right, I've got Fine Mind from Rumacruci. Fine Mind, greetings to you. Welcome.
Hello?
Yeah, welcome, Fine Mind. Welcome. Let's talk.
Good evening. Stories like this, to me, they don't move because I know that it will not take any headway. At the end of the day, they will resolve it politically and to end. It's not in the interest of the state. Remember the one that happened here in Rivers State, where the former governor instituted a case against the one that presided him.
Okay.
How did it end?
But the matter is back. The matter is back.
Even if
Fine Mind.
case at the state level, when it gets to appeal for the Supreme Court, the power at the center, which also aligns with Ganduje, whatever want them to convict him. So to me, I see that as an action in futility that will not bring anything, and it's very bad for democracy. You know, it's only when the person is an opposition to you that you prosecute him. But the person aligns with you, you tend to overlook it, and it's very dangerous. It's bad. Normally, it would have been a welcome development if we were in a society where rule of law prevails.
All right.
But even if they indict him at the state level, do you think that the government of Tinubu will allow the Supreme Court to indict a person that
Fine Mind, can you hear me?
The emergence as president of the country.
Fine Mind, can you hear me? Now,
I can hear you now.
Tinubu says he's also taking the fight against corruption to the next level. So let's not judge just yet. You never would know.
Yeah, because it's so much, but I think I heard you talk about Tinubu and corruption. Yes. Every president that comes into power in Nigeria talks about fighting corruption. There are many presidents that talk about fighting corruption. But the corruption fight is only targeted at those who are in the position. Remember, there was a time that somebody in the city told us that when you come to the party, I think will be forgiven. So all this corruption fight and all that, I don't think it is something that should be taken seriously.
All right, then.
Ganduje will never be convicted. Don't mark my word.
Okay. What if he is now? That's the question. However, you said something about the former governor going after the former governor before him, his predecessor. That matter is back to the courts. It is. Let's look at this one. Clinton is calling from Bowie. Clinton, good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, Kalada.
Yeah, welcome. Let's talk.
I don't think there is anything like fighting corruption in Nigeria. Until the anti-graft agencies are actually independent, we won't have it smooth in the fight. Now, look at what is happening in Kano State. I am against corruption. I suspect that the former governor of Kano State was corrupt. But they went to court to stop.
But you can't say it's corrupt when you've not been able to prove
it. I suspect.
Okay.
So it is the duty of the EFCC to actually see if it's corrupt or not. But they went to court to stop the probe. So until these bottlenecks are removed, we won't have it smooth in the fight against corruption. In Rivers State, assuming that it was an opposition that won the election, I know that this Wike will be probed because he had a lot of cockroaches in his cupboard. So we have to strengthen our institutions by removing the bottlenecks and making them function optimally. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. But how did you see the cockroaches, I should ask? Lucky from Port Harcourt, I missed your call. Do call back if you can. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. What are your thoughts on it? The fight against corruption. Are we gaining momentum, or is it a fight against perceived political enemies? And how do we strengthen anti-graft institutions to be able to ensure that they, carry the fight against corruption to the level that we all desire it to be? Because, like I've said, corruption is eating deep into, our society. In every nook and cranny, you'd see corruption there. How do we eradicate it? This one says, almost everybody in this Nigeria is corrupt, so we should start from ourselves. Stephen Tom Obun on Facebook. I've got Alexandra Benjamin. So what's the number? 0817-923-0002. That's the number to call. Charleston Bloodworth Jaja says he should be probed, and if found guilty, he should be prosecuted and served the punishment. Aditayo Bimisade says, hello, my people. Okay, and that's not for us. I've got Godspar calling from HA. Godspar, good evening to you.
Yes.
Welcome,
Thank
Godspar.
You.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay.
Turn off your radio.
Your question
Turn off your radio, please.
It's very interesting. Like the person who sent test, it's not that everybody is corrupt, but the system is so corrupt, and you don't know where to start to fight it. It's like devil pursuing devil. It will not work now. The only solution is, what do I mean by this is that each person should evaluate himself whether he is corrupt or not, whether he has a government system, or in the church, or in the family. Because this corruption is not only a money. It's not money, because when you talk of corruption, they thought it's only money. There are a lot of things that involve in corruption.
All right.
Both the thinking and the way you behave and your willpower to do something and the tribalism and all that. That's also corruption. When something is coming, you want it to come to your own alone, your place and your tribe and your religion. And other people, they are like the JJC. It's not good for them. It's only good for certain people. This is a corruption. Because when you talk of corruption, sometimes have you eaten money? All you see, you are conniving and getting to yourself first is corruption too.
All right.
To fight it, except another country will come, or you employ another people that will come and sanitize the system in Nigeria. As for Nigerian fighting for Nigeria, are you talking of the Inspector General Police? Is it INEC? Is it Labour? Is it OIE? We are. Is it Custom? Is it Police? How do you say that? Where we start? Is it in the church? Wherever. So we have to make an attempt. At least let the good ones show their good attitude and live an example life. That's what we can do. As for fighting character 0 level.
All right.
It will not work. Jesus comes. Thank you, God bless.
All right, thank you very much for calling in God's power. Just when you talk about fighting corruption in Nigeria, EFCC is the commission at the forefront of that, and it was always why I did not support President Tinubu's suspension of Bawa was actually doing a good job. Ganduje was one of those in their books. What I don't support is malicious prosecution. However, where there is the strong possibility that a person is corrupt, then it should not matter if he's a member of the opposition party or not. The question should be whether the person committed the act or not. If not, this way, we won't get rid of corruption in Nigeria. When PDP comes, they should also fight their own corruption. The only thing that should not be done is malicious prosecution, flat F from Port Harcourt. Let's take this call. 92.3 Nigeria Info. What's your name? Where are you calling in from? Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome. What's your name?
Hello.
I can hear you loud and clear. So can others. What's your name?
I'm Adile calling from Aba.
All right, welcome Adile from Aba. Let's hear your thoughts then.
Why should government officials be handling cash? Now, they are the ones that brought out cashless policy. And that cashless policy has the power to curb corruption. So why don't it be for government officials and those working in government? If I'm working in government now in Nigeria, it's a privilege. Or working for government, whether it's a contractor or ordinary worker, it's a privilege. So they need that cashless to check their corruption. Second, to bank accounts and not to any particular individual's account.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adele. And I think you do have a point. I mean, cashless policy will to a large extent tackle corruption in governance and even amongst the people. And secondly, we should look into some of these contracts awarded by local government, state governments, even the federal government, because it might just be an avenue for, you know what I'm saying. Dota from Gokana. Madam Dota, good evening to you.
Good day, Canada.
Yeah, welcome, Dota from Gokana.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Talking about this corruption, you know, the former president, I believe that this is one of the things that made him he had his way to be president. Because he told us we are going to fight it, we are going to do everything to make sure that we won't see it again. And he relied on this and became president. But the truth today says, the rest is history. By the time he came into power, I didn't see how well he fought it. Because corruption and money that was loaned to go and fix my Ogoni road that I can't enter the city any longer, nothing happened to anybody. And this governor that they talked about, okay, he was in office, he's out of office now. Even the man that was to fight the corruption, you can see what has happened today. So who is really fighting who? The corruption thing at the end of the day, Mr. Integrity came in and did it for me. He did not go back as Mr. Integrity. Because everything he promised us that he was going to fight, he did not fight anyone. I didn't see anybody that he held down to say, bring our money. All the ones that they collected to give us light, we didn't see light. And up to today, Canada, nothing. Right. Nothing. Wherever he is, he should hear me. He didn't do it. He didn't fight it. He didn't go back as Mr. Integrity in my eyes. Madam Dota, thank you.
Dota, thank you very much for your time there. Let's see now. Kalada, we must start from somewhere. Ganduje must be probed and he found guilty. Let him pay for his actions. And again, that's not the conversation. We've moved on. Chris Onyewenyi, we've moved on from that conversation. But thank you. He said Ganduje should be probed, and we'll see if that's what happens. Ida from Nkoro is calling. Hello. Yeah, good evening. Welcome.
My brother, just like my sister Dr. Gokana just said, you see, when you come out to fight something, fight it very well. Our former governor came out and said that he wants to work for Rivers, and he worked, and we saw the work very, very well. The flyover and everything. When you promise something, do that thing very well. They said they come to fight corruption. Hey, good Lord did not do it. Good Lord did this. Good Lord did it. But their own is water. Under them, they are stealing money. They are doing nothing. I don't appreciate that former president to Buhari. He left. I'm very, very happy.
But that's not what.
Tinubu should please learn.
All right.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. You should learn, he said. Okay. This one says the anti-corruption fight in Nigeria is usually effective when the suspect of a financial crime does not have the federal government backing. But in the case of Ganduje, he should have been arrested the day they handed over the mantle of leadership in the state and made to face the law regarding to the leaked dollar video involving him, since the government of Buhari didn't do anything about it. Woyike Odinaka. But the government of Buhari could not have done anything about it. I mean, Ganduje had immunity. You could not touch someone, or you cannot touch someone who has got constitutional immunity. Of course, we talked about the removal of immunity that period, but it came to naught. It came to naught. This one says, hard facts at Canada. Our national institutions, particularly the anti-graft ones, will continue to be at the whims and caprice of the politicians who controlled the instrumentality of the state, except the appointment and funding of such institutions are insulated and excised from the political class and vested in a hybrid of non-governmental organizations and some retired judges of repute. The former APC chairman Adams Oshomole said if one defects to his party, his sins will be forgiven. It is my firm view that our former governor Wike is falling over. Yet again, that's not our conversation. Beneme Bene Opoko Kana, local government area. Okay, you said it's your firm view that our former governor Wike is falling over his body, seeking relevance from the APC and Tinubu for his sins to be overlooked. The fight against corruption is still in the hands of whoever is in charge to hunt for his opponents and enemies. All right, if you say so. If you do say so. But let's take this call now. Hello, what's your name?
I think Sharif on the line.
Sharif?
Sharif, yeah, Sharif.
All right, welcome, Sharif then. Sharif, welcome. Let's talk.
Yeah. I think when we say corruption, what comes to our mind is government.
Okay.
But we say to listen to ourselves and checkmate ourselves that the corruption we are talking about here, even with us, within us, even we ourselves, our mind is not even feeling at all.
All right.
Corruption is not the way they say it. That's like when a former prime minister or England prime minister says Nigeria is fantastically corrupt, and we challenge it to federal government. We don't admit ourselves. Those people selling the things outside there, even those POS of the things. People are supposed to be charged 5,000 naira, 100 naira. When you go there, you charge 5,000 naira, 200 naira corruption.
Yeah, it is corruption actually when you charge what you're not supposed to.
It's out of corruption.
Yeah.
So what am I trying to say that Ganduje, if they find they should probe Ganduje, they find him guilty, they should arrest him. I don't think it's above the law, and let us admit ourselves, because we are all corrupt in this country.
All right. I'm sorry, Sheriff. I've got to let you go. The network is terrible. I couldn't really make out what you're saying. But I've got Akere from Bori. Akere, good evening to you.
Good evening.
Yeah, welcome. Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk.
Yes, talking about the issue of the former governor of Kano State and the case at hand with the current administration. It is quite unfortunate that corruption has been institutionalized in this country, most especially serving governors and other executives and everywhere, almost all facets of the economy. So, if you can remember some time ago in River State, talking about contract, where the immediate past governor did mention that he gave some persons, politicians, money.
Yeah, I remember that.
To execute projects, roads. And they only collected the money and will not do anything. He made mention of all that, but nobody was called for questioning. Nobody was prosecuted. So it's a way of abating corruption. And if we continue that way, we are not headed to anywhere. Even spending public funds not appropriated for, just as we've been witnessing before and during the 2023 election. It is acts of corruption.
All right.
Because money was not being appropriated for. So what are we talking about? Virtually all of them are guilty of this.
All of them, you said. All right, thank you very much,
Thank
Akere.
you.
I've got Mike from Roma Olu. Mike, greetings to you. Welcome on the show.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome.
Yeah, I think when this matter came up, there was a video that actually captured everything.
Yeah.
So the person who videoed that should be a very good evidence. Should be an outstanding one, so that in case comes up, the guy should be called upon to come and
but you see, Mike, wait now.
Hello?
Mike, yeah, can you hear me? The guy being called upon is actually not necessarily the problem, you know. The problem is getting to the point where the investigation maybe reaches the court, or now there is the anti-graft commission looking into the case, reaches the point where they now, I mean, first of all, it has to be a transparent process. I don't know if you agree with me on that one.
But it's okay. But again, one other thing again, that the APC people are saying that Ganduje shouldn't bother himself over that matter, that it's not, he shouldn't bother himself, it's not going anywhere. So what kind of statement is all that?
All right.
That's why corruption can hardly be defeated in this country. So please, but anyhow, let us keep on talking and put our hands together and try to make the country work.
All right, then.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Mike. I've got Madonna from Rupoku. This is going to be the last one because we've got a commercial break coming up. Hello, Madonna, right? Madonna is your name, right? Or is it McDonald?
McDonald, yes.
All right, McDonald, welcome. Let's talk.
Yes, I try to toe the line of the sheriff who called.
Okay.
In as much as I'm not holding brief for Ganduje and that he should be probed, I will say that corruption is endemic in most of us as Nigerians.
Okay.
And until we try to examine ourselves individually, or else we are not going to anywhere. We are not going anywhere because the next man is waiting for his turn to exploit Nigerians. My experience this afternoon.
Okay, tell me.
Make me to make this call now. I will be a letter from Abuja. Somebody will be a letter for me, and the money was paid. I sent the money. The money was paid through one of these our transport line.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, when the letter arrived, I was still asked that the man who sent the letter did not give them the money, and my letter was held hostage until he had to pay it the second time. By the time I will contact the man in Abuja, he has switched off his phone. So that is the corruption in all of us.
All right then. All right. Thank you very much, Donald. Hello, Canada. It is actually corruption on the part of the legislative arm that prevents former governors facing trial in Senate crimes. Such governors are impeached, and then they are subsequently face prosecution. But in Nigeria, the excuse of immunity comes in, and then we have to wait till they leave office. Anonymous with that one. I've got several other messages, but this is where I have to step on the brakes and go for a commercial break. When we come back, it will be time for the news update. Just stay tuned.